بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم والسماء والطارق وما أدراك ما الطارق النجم الثاقب إن كل نفس لما عليها حافظ فلينظر الإنسان مما خلق من ماء دافق يخرج من بين الصلب والترائب إنه على رجعه لقادر يوم تبلى السرائر فما له من قوة ولا ناصر والسماء ذات الرجع والأرض ذات الصدع إنه لقول فصل وما هو بالحزن إنهم يكيدون كيدا وأكيد كيدا فمهل الكافرين أمهلهم رويدا صدق الله العظيم. صلوات.
MashaAllah for our young brother Jafar Naqi, his family, his teachers, for their safety, health, and continued blessings. Please recite as-salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. We'll now continue the program. We'll start with the majlis with recitation of Salam and Marsiya by Brother Shafqat Shah.
بارے دیگر صلوات محمد عالم معصوم کے کاندھوں پہ جنازہ ہے نقی کا معصوم کے کاندھوں پہ جنازہ ہے نقی کا زہرا سے تو پوچھے کوئی غم کیا ہے نقی کا پھر اجڑے ہے سادات قیامت کا ہے منظر پھر اجڑے ہے سادات قیامت کا ہے منظر اب سر پہ کسی کے کہاں سایہ ہے نقی کا، زہرا سے تو پوچھے کوئی غم کیا ہے نقی کا، پردیس میں ڈھایا گیا وہ کعبہ ایمان، پردیس میں ڈھایا گیا وہ کعبہ ایمان، ڈوبا ہوا اس درد میں کنبہ ہے نقی کا، زہرا سے تو پوچھے کوئی غم کیا ہے نقی کا، سر پیٹتے آئے ہیں سبھی ساکن جنت، سر پیٹتے آئے ہیں سبھی ساکن جنت، غم عرش معلا پہ بھی چھایا ہے نقی کا، زہرا سے تو پوچھے کوئی غم کیا ہے نقی کا، کیسے نہ اندھیروں میں جہاں غرق ہو سارا، کیسے نہ اندھیروں میں جہاں غرق ہو سارا، ہائے نور ہی دنیا سے جب اٹھتا ہے نقی کا، زہرا سے تو پوچھے کوئی غم کیا ہے نقی کا، سب خاک بسر نوحہ کناں اہل ولا ہے، سب خاک بسر نوحہ کناں اہل ولا ہے، مصروف عزا سارا زمانہ ہے نقی کا، زہرا سے تو پوچھے کوئی غم کیا ہے نقی کا، صلوات محمد علیہ. My second salam, you will not see the translation, but it's basically about Karbala and Azadari that today is the time you should do Azadari because you don't know how long your life will be. So, Salawat bar Muhammad. آؤ رو لے شہ کربلا کو زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں ہے آؤ رو لے شہ کربلا کو زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں ہے جو بھی گرتا ہے اس غم میں آنسو کوئی بیکار جاتا نہیں ہے آؤ رو لے شہ کربلا کو جب جلے ہوں گے خیمے حرم کے جب چھنی ہوں گی سر سے ردائیں جب جلے ہوں گے خیمے حرم کے جب چھینی ہوں گی سر سے ردائیں کیا بنی ہوگی سیدانیوں پر وہ سما دل سے جاتا نہیں ہے آؤ رو لیں شہ کربلا کو زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں ہے بہر تعظیم اٹھو اے اکبر پردہ داری کرو میرے دل بر بہر تعظیم اٹھو اے اکبر پردہ داری کرو میرے دل بر آ رہی ہے سواری پھوپھی کی جس کا کوئی سہارا نہیں ہے آؤ رو لیں شہ کربلا کو زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں ہے کربلا میں جو جائے گی زینب کیا بتائے گی بھائی کو زینب کربلا میں جو جائے گی زینب کیا بتائے گی بھائی کو زینب چھٹ کے زنداں سے جو آ رہے ہیں ان میں پیاری سکینہ نہیں ہے آؤ رو لیں شہ کربلا کو زندگی کا بھروسہ نہیں
Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Before I invite Maulana to the minbar, there are some important community announcements that I would like to share with you, and I also want to take this time to acknowledge tonight's sponsors. Tomorrow evening, Friday, January 19th at 8 p.m., we will have a town hall meeting on community advocacy. All members of the community are invited to discuss our role and responsibilities as a community to advocate for our values and our concerns. This town hall discussion will allow our community members to voice their thoughts and concerns on how we can be effective in building an infrastructure of advocacy and what steps and direction we should undertake. The following day, on Saturday, January 20th, we will have a program to honor the life and legacy of our first Imam and our ninth Imam, Imam Ali alayhi salam and Imam al-Jawad alayhi salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. This program begins with Salatul Maghribain at 5:08 p.m. The Jashan will be addressed by Hujjatul Islam, Shayk Amir Mukhtar Faezi, and the program will have dinner in the banquet hall following the Jashan. Friday, February 2nd at 8 p.m., our youth group, Shabab al-Mahdi, will honor the life and legacy of Imam Ali alayhi salam by reciting Quran, Dua Tawassul, and Nasheeds. There will be speeches on success in the eyes of Imam Ali alayhi salam. This is for boys aged 3 and above, and to participate, please register on the Baitul Ilm website. The sponsors of tonight's program are the Ishrati family and the Jafri family. They request that you remember the marhumeen of your families and the marhumeen of their families. In particular, Sayyid Hadi Ishrati, Sayyid Hassan Ali, Sakina Sultan, Sayyid Bakr Naqvi, Sayyid Sirajul Hassan Jafari, Sayyid Sadiq Naqvi. Please remember them all with the Surah Fatiha, preceded by a salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen Ar-Rahman Ar-Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in ihdinas siratal mustaqim siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. Alhamdulillah. I would like to invite Hujjatul Islam Shaykh Amir Mukhtar Faezi to the minbar. Please welcome him with a loud salawat ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad.
Fatiha. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir-Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alayhim ghayril maghdubi 'alayhim waladdallin. A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين بارئ الخلائق أجمعين والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا أبي القاسم محمد اللهم صل على محمد وعلى أهل بيته الطيبين الطاهرين الذين أذهب الله عنهم الرجس وطهرهم تطهيرا اللهم صل على محمد واللعنة الدائمة على أعدائهم أجمعين من الأولين والآخرين أما بعد فقال الإمام علي بن محمد النقي الهادي عليهم الصلاة والسلام اللهم صل على محمد وعلى محمد من رضي عن نفسه كسر الساخط عليه صلوات. Dear brothers and sisters in Iman, tonight we are gathered to commemorate the martyrdom of our 10th Imam, the 12th Ma'asum and 10th Imam, Imam Ali ibn Muhammad Naqi Al Hadi alayhim as-salatu was-salam. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. One of the reasons that we celebrate their birthdays or commemorate their martyrdoms is to take a look at their lives as our role models. Human beings are always faced with so many challenges on almost daily basis. Life in this dunya, in this world, is full of challenges. And when we face those challenges, while our knowledge, our understanding, our experience, and so many other things become handy, but something which really inspires us or gives us strength, that is if we have any role model in front of us. And if we can relate to the experience of someone that who faced the similar challenge, has gone through the same problems, same difficulties and hardships, and then if he or she was able to go through and manage those challenges and difficulties and hardships and succeeded in keeping his faith, keeping their principles, their positions, then they become a greatest strength for us. We can just look at them and then we can close our eyes and just follow them, because we have a example in front of us, we have a model in front of us, we have a role model in front of us. And these members of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salatu wassalam are the best, alaykum assalam wa rahmatullah. They are the best role models for anyone that who lives in this dunya and lives the daily life, has a family, has a faith, has a community, has a business, has some friends, has some voice. So, the life of these Ahlul Bayt, our Imams, is a very good source for us, a resource for us. And when we look at their lives, we learn lessons. We derive lessons for ourselves and try to apply their lives and their experiences in our daily life. Our 10th Imam and our 11th Imam, or even from 9th and 10th and 11th, these three Imams, their time and their issues and difficulties and problems and challenges are very much resembling. and their phase of imamat actually, their era, their phase is put together as one phase or one era. I'm sure you are familiar with that book. I have recommended that book to our community members to read. It's a 250 years old man. These are the beautiful speeches given by Rahbar, the supreme leader of Islamic revolution, and Ayatollah al-Uzma Sayyid Ali al-Khamenei. He has spoken on this topic, and his speeches are now available in a book. 250 years old man. When he reaches to this 9th and 10th and 11th Imam, so he puts them together. He says these three Imams, 9th Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad, Imam Ali Naqi Al Hadi, and Imam Hasan al-Askari alayhi salatu wassalam. In his words, he says they achieved actually the highest success. In his words, if you compare their success with the success of previous Imams, and again there is nothing wrong with the previous Imams. Those were their even fathers and grandfathers. But in order to make success or achieve success, it doesn't need only your effort. There are so many other things also which play a role. Meaning you do your best, you put your effort, but then the time, the circumstances, what is going on in the society, how much help you got, how many supporters you got, or things which were happening in your time sometime become a source of success for you. So Imam alayhi salatu here, Rahbar says that success of these three Imams says at least 10 times more than the success of previous Imams. And the number of Shia population, he says, had at least gone 10 times more in the time of these three Imams than in the time of those previous Imams. Reason: if you are following news and if you watch media and if you see what is happening in different countries, and if you look at the media and the censor and how governments stop certain information and how they promote certain information and how they purchase and buy those anchors and those media houses and those leaders at the different levels. So you see that this world, this media or these news, for example, are not reflections of truth. They are not unbiased news of what is happening outside over there. Nobody can understand now in these days better than us, who are following very much what is going on in Gaza and Palestine and in other places. What crimes are being committed? And you watch the mainstream media and you will never see the reflection of those crimes in the same way as those are being committed, or even the narrative gets twisted. What is happening in some other countries can also make this case very clear and people can really appreciate and understand. So what happens sometime, this blackout, this censorship and that heavy-handedness of the rulers and these governments, they make heroes look like zeros, and they make these zeros look like heroes. And this is very easy for the governments, it's very easy for the media, it is very easy for those interest groups. This is how they pick people, and then they inflate them, and then they promote them, and then you find the stories and books and news and so much that you start thinking that somebody is really that great or champion, and you don't know what is the real background. And then there are so important people in the world that who are doing so great and so good, but since the media or those governments and those people in power, they don't want to promote them or they don't want to bring them in limelight, they will always look like nobody. So after the death of Prophet, a man like Amirul Mu'mineen Ali ibn Abi Talib alayhi salatu wassalam, a man that there was no match to him, best in every area, in every field of life. If you pick on one side Amirul Mu'mineen, and then if you want to look around, and particularly those who were being compared with him or those who were being kind of promoted to bring him little down, there is no comparison. But the government, the people who got control, they made a strategy, they made a plan to bring some other people as the movers and shakers of the Muslim community and just take Amirul Mu'mineen away from the main stage. Now, sometimes common people, they think, how is it possible? There were so many companions and there were so many people, and how come they were able to do that? They don't know that at the time when Prophet died, majority of Muslims were new converts to Islam. If you go and take consensus and if you count the numbers, overwhelming majority of Muslims were very new in Islam, because they entered in Islam after the conquest of Makkah. After the conquest of Makkah, and even after that, when they saw the whole Arabia is entering in Islam and everybody is now, this is a trend and everybody is becoming Muslim, so everybody yadkhuluna fi dinillahi afwaja. They are so new in Islam that they don't know the true history of Islam and that list of who is who. Who is who? Only a few people know that who were in Islam from the very beginning. Those are not more than 200 or 300 people in the very beginning. But the other ones, they came at different times, and majority now at the time of death of Prophet are new. So, if government is mistreating Ali and Fatima, to them Ali is just like one member of the community, Fatima is one lady of the community. And these are the seniors, old Muslims, they know better what they are doing, so why should I interfere, why should I get involved in this? This is the father-in-law of Prophet, this is a man with white beard, this is a man from so long, he is Muslim from last 20 years, 30 years. I have converted in Islam just 2 years ago, 1 year ago, 3 years ago. I don't know who is who. So that's one thing. Majority of the people didn't know the true contributions of Amirul Mu'mineen or Janabe Sayyida or Ahlul Bayt, to them everybody was just the same. Then there were people that, for example, Ali had killed their fathers, their uncles, their grandfathers, their brothers, their cousins, their sons in all those battles of Islam, Badr and Uhud, and this Khaybar and Khandak, in all those battles. Amirul Mu'mineen is the one that who is always on front, defending Islam, fighting for Islam, and is, of course, when you are fighting, defending, and you have sword and you are in battlefield, so the chances are that you will end up killing so many people. It's very difficult to forget your blood or your killed ones, and particularly in those times and among Arabs, to forget. And there were reasons that why these other gentlemen, they were not doing that. They were not that coward as we think that they are very coward. But they knew the price. They knew that if we will kill people, then these people are never going to forget that. And the animosity will go in generations. So that's why you open the book of history, and sometime when I was used to do debates of these Shia and Sunni issues, I had challenged my opponents in debates that show me just one name, one kafir in all those battles that who got killed by one of these Shaykhain, for example. Abu Bakr or Umar or Usman, did kill even one man? Ma qatalu wa ma qutilu. They never killed anyone and they never got killed. So, they knew the price. Now, Amirul Mu'mineen has all those people in Medina among Quraysh, and when they look at Ali, they remember their father, they remember their brother, they remember their cousin, they remember their son, they remember their grandfather, and they have problem with Ali. Government had other reasons also. So the purposely now masjid, member, leadership of troops, qaza, justice, qazi, all these positions, other people are being brought in. Ali is not given any role in those days. And Amirul Mu'mineen is working all in farms, digging wells, planting trees, and trying to do the charitable work, or he was trying to teach and educate some of those people that who wanted to learn from him. So Amirul Mu'mineen is basically isolated. There is a blackout, there is a censorship. And then it continued for 25 years. In 25 years, zeros became heroes, and everybody now talks about them and everybody knows about them. But Amirul Mu'mineen, a man like Ali, la fatah illa Ali, la sayf illa Zulfiqar, is unknown. And when people see that he is not in good books of government, nobody wants to become friend with him. Particularly when they know that if I will get involved with him, I will become in bad books of government. Government will note, and then they will not give me any position, they will not hire me for those jobs, they will not give me the new lands or new properties, and I will be in trouble because of him. No, who wants trouble? So when in these sensitive situations, when in countries, in societies, everyone wants to be safe. Nobody wants to go and be friend with those who are going through those tough and difficult times, and government has kind of marked them. So Ali is alone with very few people with him. People like Abu Zar, people like, for example, Salman Farsi, and a few others here and there. And it continues for 25 years. For 5 years, Ali comes in government. So now people know about him. He gets the opportunity to sit at the minbar. He gets the opportunity to talk to people. So that's why we have this Nahjul Balagha. So this Nahjul Balagha, most of it, meaning all these speeches and writings and all those things took place in those 4 years and a half. Compare if Ali was talking and speaking from last 25 years. We had Nahjul Balagha in 10 volumes or 20 volumes. After 4 or 5 years, again, Ali is eliminated, and situation is created so difficult for Ali that Ali cannot have a public funeral. Try to understand that today everybody, this is again a miracle, that everyone knows about Imam Ali and everyone talks about Imam Ali, and the man that who was under that censor, and a man that who couldn't even get a public funeral, and for almost more than 100 years his grave was hidden and nobody knew where Ali was buried. And then Ali is now everywhere, and Ali is in every heart, and Ali is a champion, and so much books and so much poetry and so much slogans and so much meaning we know about Imam Ali. But don't think that this was the case in the time of Imam Ali. Don't think that this is what was happening at that time, in the time of Imam Ali. Imam Ali's time, Ali is Shaheed. This Dr. Shariati had written a book, it is translated in Urdu. Ali Ki Tanhaiyan, the loneliness of Ali. Ali was marginalized. He was made isolated, and people wouldn't name their children in the name of Imam Ali. And situation was so bad that even when Imam Hussain had named all of his 3 sons in the name of Ali, so he was questioned and he was criticized by Marwan. Why did you name your children Ali and every son as Ali? Ali al-Akbar, Ali al-Awsat, Ali al-Asghar. So when they had abandoned these names, Ahlul Bayt had to keep these names, at least in their own children. So Ali, I'm just talking about a man that who was man of the community, as you say man of match, as you say man of ceremony, as you say man of an event. Ali is the man of that whole movement of Islam. After Prophet, he is the man. That's why it is La Fatah illa Ali. Nobody knows about him. Then the time of Muawiyah comes. So he does the same thing with Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain. Imam Hassan and Imam Hussain, they spend their life, the entire life in censorship. If you want to go and read about Imam Hassan and Hussein, in the historical records for both Imams, you will not find even material of more than 20 pages. If you want to just see the main material about Imam Hassan, 20 pages. Imam Hussein, again, you will not read or find anything about Imam Hussein, either a few stories about his birth, or then later all of just the story of Karbala. When he is 57, what happened in between? Imam Hussein lived, he is grandson of Prophet, Sayyida Shabab Ahlul Jannah, and we don't see anything. I have looked into the history and history books and biography books. It's all about Karbala, or those 2 or 3 stories about his birth. In between, there is nothing. That was the censorship. Nobody should know who is Ali, who is Fatima, who is Hassan, who is Hussein. And when this is the situation with these Ahlul Qisa, then you can imagine what is going to be about Imam Zainul Abidin and Imam Muhammad Baqir and Imam Jafar Sadiq and Imam Musa al-Qazi. Again, Ayatollah Khamenei says that in those times, the Shias, majority of them were not able to meet Imam Muhammad al-Baqir or Imam Jafar Sadiq. Shias were living in isolation. Imams were almost under house arrest in Medina, and there was not much traffic between the Shias and the Imams. Only a few students, they learned from those Imams and gathered all those hadiths from them or masail from them. But the common people, they never had that access to those Imams. And that's why we see some issues and some problems in Kufa and in the following and in the Shia community, because there is no, meaning the Imams are under house arrest, people are living far away in isolation, away from their Imam. So you can imagine so many things can happen. Then what happens, that first time one member of Ahlul Bayt, after those 4 years and a half of Imam Ali, in the time of Ma'mun, he brings Imam Rida alayhi salatu wassalam from Medina to Marv. Again, not to bless Imam Rida or to give any favors to him, he himself was stuck. The brother was fighting with the brother, and he had big issues and big problems at that time. So he brings our 8th Imam, and this time when he is bringing from Medina to Marv, it's a long distance, and bringing him as a government dignitary or as a guest with high respect. And since Imam Rida traveled from Medina to all the way this Iran, which was Marv actually, which is now part of Turkmenistan, so it gave people chance first time to see an Imam or a leading person from the Ahle Bayt Muhammad Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. People that who had so far seen these leaders and these rulers and these khalifas and these corrupt leaders of Banu Umayyah and now Banu Abbas, on one hand, they knew their rulers, their governors, their mayors, their judges, and then they are now seeing a son of Prophet, son of Ali, son of Fatima. So when Imam Rida would stop anywhere, when people would come and see him, when people would meet him,
that Nuraniyat of our Imam, the Ruhaniyat of our Imam, his spirituality, his knowledge, his image, his effect and impact on people was such that people really realize that they are first time they have seen a man of God. They are in the presence of a wali of Allah, a hujjat of Allah. So far they had seen all those fake people. So this is first time now one of our imams is getting the public exposure. So all that censorship and all that what has gone so far, so Imam is coming out, getting the opportunity and the exposure. And then Imam alayhi salatu wasalam reaches there. So this is, and then you know the story of Imam Riza, and his name gets written on the coin as the crown prince, while he didn't really take much part in the government, but still government was trying to promote him and just show that we are now together, and it's not only Mamun, but here is the son of Ali and Fatima, and here is son of Prophet, here is a senior member of Ahlul Bayt, part of this government, he is leading the government. So don't fight against us because of him. So a little bit word has gone out. And Imam Rida alayhi salatu wassalam is now known among all these Muslims, and particularly now in this time, when Islam has reached to Africa, and Islam has reached to India, and Islam has reached to Central Asia, and Islam has reached to so far, so many places. And in all these people, they never heard anything about Ahlul Bayt. They never heard anything about Ale Muhammad. You know that story that people of Syria, they had always thought, and this is what they were taught first, and then they thought that these Bani Umayyah are the family of Prophet. They would call themselves the family of Prophet. We are relatives of Prophet. We are the family of Prophet. And people of Syria believed that these Banu Umayyah are the family of Prophet. First time when Imam Zainul Abidin and Janab Zainab Salamullah Alayha, when they reach in Damascus and when they introduce themselves that we are the family of Muhammad, we are the people of Ahlul Bayt, people of Syria were shocked. They were so much under this propaganda that Banu Umayyah are the Ale Muhammad. Now they see these are Ale Muhammad or these are Ale Muhammad. Salli ala Muhammad. Similar situation is now taking place in the time of Imam Riza. These hundreds of thousands of Muslims or millions of Muslims in Central Asia, in Africa, in India, in Arab lands, in Iran, so they are now getting the exposure of Imam Riza. Now they discovered that no, there is a family, there are Ahlul Bayt. They have something to say, they have a different narrative, they have claim of leadership, they have claim of imamat. So far only there were few Shias here and there. That's why Imam Khomeini, Ayatollah Khamenei says that Shias increased 10 times more in numbers in the time of these 3 or 4 Imams. In the time of Imam Rida, and in the time of Imam Muhammad Taqi, and in the time of Imam Ali Naqi, and in the time of Imam Hasan Askari. Because now at least they came out from that. And that is why you know that these Sadat which are known as Rizvi Sadat. Technically, they are all Taqavi Sadat. Those Sadat who call themselves Rizvis or Radavis, they are technically Taqavis. They are awlad of Imam Muhammad Taqi alayhi salatu wassalam. Because Imam Riza had only one son, and from that Imam Muhammad Taqi, they are his children. But since Imam Riza was now the brand name, Imam Raza was the more known name, had more prestige, was known more, so these Taqavi Sadat are all called, they call themselves Rizvis, the sons and daughters of Imam Riza. And it didn't happen only here. Then later on, the 9th Imam, 10th Imam, 11th Imam, all of them were called Yabnar Rida, for example. When people would approach to them, O son of Imam Riza. Everyone is now Radavi. So not only 9th, but even 10th Imam, even 11th Imam, Yabnar Rida. So, Imam Rida, this is when history changes. And then what happens, the 9th Imam, 10th Imam and 11th Imam. They, since they knew that they have to prepare the Shias and this community for ghaibat, they had to prepare community now to live without Imam among them. So they started building the communities, networking, enrolling people as representatives in different places, appointing certain peoples as representatives, a system of collection of homes and sadaqat, and questions and answers and all that kind of thing. So this was a new system which came actually more established in the time of these three Imams. And then particularly if you look at the life of 10th Imam or 9th Imam, both of them, they had the similar experience. First time in the Shi'i history, an Imam becomes Imam and he moves in office at the age 7 or 8. Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad, and then Imam Ali al-Naqi also, when he moved in his office of Imamat, he was 8 years old. Only 8. So, because they were so young, they had to now prove to their community and their followers and extended community that they are truly Imam and Hujjat-e-Khuda. So they have to demonstrate their powers of Imamat more than the previous Imams. Imam Baqir didn't need to demonstrate those powers. Imam Sadiq didn't need to use those powers. Imam Zainul Abidin didn't need. But our 9th Imam and 10th Imam, they have to demonstrate their knowledge, their wisdom, their miraculous powers, their powers of Imamat to prove that yes, they are Imams of the time. And you are familiar with that big debate of Imam Muhammad Taqi al-Jawad alayhi salatu wassalam with the Chief Justice of this whole empire, Yahya bin Aqsam. And Imam won the debate. Now, about this 10th Imam, this little story and then we conclude the majlis, that see how much they have gone through. When Ninth Imam was brought into Samarra. At that time, Imam Ali Al Naqi was about 6 years old. He was only 6. And when Mu'tasim, he asked that did he have any family back home in Medina and had children? They said yes, he has a son who is 6 years old. Mu'tasim, who is bringing the ninth Imam in Samarra to marginalize him or isolate him or bring him under some kind of censor, he doesn't want to see his son growing in free atmosphere in Medina to become another challenge after his father. And from story you will understand that how much power these governments had. These so-called Amirul Mu'mineens of that time, they were all used to call at that time. Later on people stopped calling them Amirul Mu'mineen, but in the times of all these Khulafa of Banu Umayyah or Banu Abbas, they were used to be addressed as Amirul Mu'mineen. And they had blind power. And nobody could resist or challenge. So Mu'tasim, he sends his representative, somebody from his cabinet or from his office, to go in Medina and take this son of Imam Taqi, yani Imam Ali Al Naqi, at this 6 years old boy, 6 years old child, and find a teacher for him to brainwash him, to find a teacher who hates Ahlul Bayt, to find a teacher who doesn't believe in Ahlul Bayt, to find a teacher who could teach him at this young age our narrative, so that when this child who doesn't have father and who is in Medina at this age 6, he should be educated, he should be taught, he should be trained, he should be influenced with our influence. So they say there was a scholar in Medina, he was known as anti-Ahlul Bayt scholar by the name of Al-Junaidi. Al-Junaidi. So this man from the office of Mu'tasim goes, he talks to Al-Junaidi, he says, I am going to bring a child who is 6 years old, you have to somehow brainwash him, teach him, educate him. Our narrative of Islam, our story of Islam, so that he leaves the tradition of his father and grandfather and all that. So, the story is long, I will not get into the details, but then what happens? You remember that story of debate between Imam Muhammad Taqi and Yahya bin Aqsam? So this story is also very much similar. So after a few weeks or few months, the teacher is now asked that what's going on in the class? So what are you teaching and how is he responding? This child. He said, which child? They say, that child which we have put in your custody. He said, you think he is a child? He is older than me in his mental capacity, intellectually, knowledge-wise. He is much older than me. He said, how come? He is only 6 years old. He said, yeah, he is 6 years old, but when he comes to me and I want to teach him anything, he knows that more than me, even from before I teach him. I want to teach him literature at that time, Arab, Sarf, Nav, Sher, Adab, literature. He is my Ustad. I want to teach him Quran and Tafsir, so he does Tafsir actually for me. And even the words which I don't know the meaning of, he explains to me the meanings of those words of Quran. So I cannot teach him anything. So this is just, of course, our children are not going to be like that, but there is a lesson that if we can educate our children at home, our identity, our history, our faith, our story, our narrative, our values, and what we stand for in so good that when they go to public school or when they go to college, no teacher can cause doubts in the minds of our children. You know that these children, when they go in high school or college, they have to take class of, what is this called, philosophy and religion, and that is the worst class, where they cause all the, meaning those doubts in the minds of children whether God made the man or man made the God, and bring all those kind of bad things about Prophet Muhammad and about Muslim history and about whatever the Arabs did and whatever all this, meaning this is so much, it shatters. And if child is not strong, if child is not educated well, if child doesn't have any background, if he was not exposed to these things, will say, oh, my father never knew this, my mother never knew that, my family, they never knew that there are so many holes in Quran and there are so many problems with the life of Prophet and Muslims were so bad, and this is all what I am learning now. So my brothers and sisters, yes, our children are not going to be like Imam Muhammad Taqi or Imam Ali Naqi, but our these places like Unity Academy, Quran Academy, Sunday schools, these classes, lectures, gatherings, and whatever you folks do at home. So we need to work with our children when they are very young. When they are very young. So that when they are exposed to other ideologies, other philosophies, to all that critical thinking, to all that those kind of criticism about Islam, they don't get confused. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam was forced to go to this teacher for a few time, but then the last thing is that this Al-Junaidi, who was supposed to brainwash Imam Ali Al-Naqi, he turns to become the Shia of Ali Muhammad alayhi salatu wassalam. Al-Junaidi converts to the madhab of Ali Muhammad. This is, my brothers and sisters, how, meaning these are the lives of our Imams. They were put in prison and they converted people, the jailers, for example, those harsh people that who were appointed, first who were selected, very harsh, very rough and anti-Ahlul Bayt people, and they were appointed, for example, to be the jailer for Imam Musa al-Kadhim alayhi salatu wasalam. But then what happened? After a few days, after a few weeks, that harsh, that anti-Ahlul Bayt individual would become muhib and would become the lover of the Imam. That's why they kept moving Imam from one jail to other, from one jail to other. And these Imams' examples are in front of you. These are the best individuals, role models that we should look into their life and we learn how to face the challenges, how to face the difficulties, how to face the hardships in our life and to not get kind of defeated. Sayyid Khamenei gives the example, and that is the last example. He says again, you see the strength of Imam, his character, his charisma, his impact. Mutawakkil knew that Imam is very popular in Samarra. Imam lived in Samarra for 20 years. And he had become very popular and he had impact. People were so much now under his influence. And in these 20 years, many people had migrated in different ways to Samarra. So, governments look into it that he doesn't have anything. We have money, we have power, we wear so expensive garments, we have crown, we have expensive abbas, and nobody cares about us, and this man doesn't have any of those things. People love him and he has so many fans, so why people love him? And they discovered that it is their piety, it is their character, it is their nearness to Allah, their connection to Allah. They are awliyaullah. And they touch the hearts, they touch the spirits, they touch the minds of people. So, in order to kind of scandalize Imam and to create some bad publicity of Imam, about Imam, he organizes a kind of event where they brought so much wine. They brought people to enjoy and to drink the wine and have share and poetry and kind of alcohol and have just do the party. And then he sends the message to ask Imam to come and join. Sometimes you wonder why, meaning Imam would go and he would not just say, no, I won't come. But looks like that in those times the protocols, the government, the power and the system was such that simply you cannot just say no. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam is summoned, was invited to join, or was told that Amirul Mu'mineen or Khalifatul Muslimin or whatever, Mutawakkil is asking you to please come and join him in a meeting. Imam alayhi salatu wasalam, when enters, he sees everybody has, I don't know what they call this, in which they pour the wine or liquor or whatever, that glass or cup or whatever, and bottles are there and liquor is being served. It was totally a very sinful environment, and they are asking Imam to come and join and sit there. When Imam goes there, so Mutawakkil also asks him, please have a seat and enjoy. They say Imam alayhi salatu wasalam stood up, looked at everyone, and then Imam alayhi salatu wasalam very politely and very effectively delivered a few lines of mau'iza, of nasihat, of admonishment. First a few lines in prose, and then Imam recited some poetry and conveying the message that this life will not continue forever. These are only counted days. So many people before you came and they left, and you are also on the same path. And then you will be asked all these things. So Imam alayhi salatu wasalam made such a mau'iza and such a nice reminder that everybody ended up putting that their glasses down. And particularly when Imam spoke about death, and what comes after death, and Imam spoke about the grave and the experience of grave. These people forgot the taste of that alcohol which they were enjoying. It was not Maulana Faezi or someone like Maulana Faezi doing Moiza, which was not going to have any impact or effect. It was the tongue of Hujjatullahi alal Khalq. It was a waz and nasihat coming from the tongue of Wali of Allah. So Imam, when looked face to face, everyone in eye to eye, and then he spoke and he addressed them, totally, they say, it changed the color of this whole event. Left everything. Mutawakkil comes and he gives some perfume to Imam as a gift, and then he comes until door to say goodbye to Imam and tell him that yes, no, you can go. Thank you very much for coming and advising us. So Sayyid Khamenei says that Imam could just stand there and take the gilas and just break it. Very easy thing. As a religious man, you are offering me this liquor, so I am going to throw it and break that gilas. He could yell, he could scream, he could give fatwa, he could say you are bedeen, you are out of deen, you are fasik, you are fajir, you are this, you are that. Imam could do all that, which normally Maulanas or our followers do that, the religious people. But Sayyid Khamenei says in his speech that Imam didn't do that. Imam knows how to penetrate in the heart of his audience. Imam knew that if Imam would do that, it won't have any impact. So Imam acts according to the situation, has the capacity to see the situation and act accordingly, and to get the results. This is the powerful personality of Imam, and he was so helpful. That's why one of his titles is Al Hadi, the guide. He was guiding people, and he guided so many people. But again, he faced 6 those tyrant rulers in his life. 6 tyrant rulers came and left in his life. So painful life. If we have a enemy, just a regular enemy, even our community member, he makes our life hell. It becomes very difficult. Always you feel paranoid, you know somebody is talking against you, somebody is doing bad publicity, somebody is always chasing you, somebody is always after you, just an average community member. But when you know even the Khalifa, that so-called Amirul Mu'mineen, the government with its intelligence agents, with its all power and might is against you, and is watching you and chasing you and after you, and then you can still hold the ground. And it doesn't shake you up, and it doesn't really make any fear in your heart, and it's not one after another. And people like Mutawakkil, those are the contemporaries of Imam, and Mu'tasim, facing 6 tyrant rulers, 6 tyrant governments. As a young man, you know, Imam was poisoned at the age 42. He lived in the office for 34 years. He started his imamat at the age 8. At 42, he was martyred. So he guided the community and led the community for 34 years. Finally, this tyrant ruler, Mu'taz, gives him poison. And Imam alayhi salatu wassalam, when he is poisoned, of course, Imams knew these circumstances. When they were faced, Imam alayhi salatu wassalam had made his wasiyats, his wills for his funeral. But as you know, at the death bed of every Imam, the next Imam has to appear with his power of Imamat. And Imam Hassan al-Askari alayhi salatu wassalam is now there to take care of the funeral of his father. They say one of the largest funeral took place in Samarra. That was the funeral of Imam Ali al-Naqi. And when such funerals would take place, while Shias would feel very happy that at least our Imam is getting that respect, and so big funeral, the Imams would cry more. The next Imam would cry more, because he would remember always. Every Imam, whenever there was a funeral, they would turn to Karbala. None of them forgot Karbala. None of them, never, ever, they forgot that body which was cut into pieces and trampled under the hooves of those horses of Ibn Sa'd in Karbala. And when no one was there to bury them, they would say, La yawma ka yawme ka ya Aba Abdullah. La yawma ka yawme ka ya Aba Abdullah. اے ابا عبداللہ، ہمارے ہاتھ کھلے تھے، ہمیں دو چار لوگ بھی مل گئے، ہم نے اپنے بابا کو غسل بھی دے لیا، ہم نے اپنے بابا کو کفن بھی دے لیا، ہمارے بابا کا جنازہ بھی اٹھ رہا ہے، اور ہم اپنے بابا کو اپنے ہاتھوں سے دفن بھی کر رہے ہیں، لیکن میں قربان جاؤں آپ کے اوپر اور آپ کے بیٹے زین العابدین کی ان مجبوریوں پر کہ جب آپ کی لاش کے ٹکڑے ہو چکے تھے اور بیٹا اس کے ہاتھ میں ہتھکڑیاں تھیں اور گلے میں توق تھا، اور زین العابدین آنکھوں سے آنسو بہاتے ہوئے باپ کی لاش کو بے گورو کفن کربلا میں چھوڑ کے کوفہ چلے گئے، تو عزیزان گرامی کوئی زین العابدین کے دل سے پوچھے۔ اِنَّا لِلَّهِ وَإِنَّا إِلَيْهِ رَاجِعُونَ وَسَيَعْلَمُ الَّذِينَ ظَلَمُوا أَيَّ مُنْقَلَبٍ يَنْقَلِبُونَ۔ پروردگار ہماری اس قلیل سی عبادت کو قبول و منظور فرما۔ ہماری اس مجلس کے جو سپانسرز ہیں، پروردگار ان کی اس سپانسرشپ کی ان کو جزائے خیر عطا فرما اور بہترین صلہ عطا فرما۔ پروردگار ان کو اور ان کے خاندانوں کو صحت و سلامتی عطا فرما، ان کے سارے مرحومین کی مغفرت فرما اور ان کو جوار محمد و آل محمد میں جگہ عطا فرما۔ پروردگار جتنے بھی مومنین و مومنات مجلس میں حاضر ہوئے ہیں، جنہوں نے مجلس میں کچھ پڑھا ہے یا انتظام میں حصہ لیا ہے، جس طریقے سے بھی جتنے مومنین و مومنات مجلس میں شریک ہوئے ہیں، پروردگار سب کو اس کا بہترین صلہ عطا فرما، سب کو اس کا اجر جزیل اور اجر کریم عطا فرما۔ پروردگار سب کو صحت اور سلامتی عطا فرما۔ پروردگار ہم سب کے جتنے مرحومین ہیں اس دنیا سے جا چکے ہیں، خصوصاً ہمارے والدین اور ہمارے اور فیملی کے ممبرز، پروردگار سب کی مغفرت فرما، ان کو جوار محمد و آل محمد میں جگہ عطا فرما۔ پروردگار ہماری اولادوں کی حفاظت فرما، مومنین کی حفاظت فرما، مظلوموں کی حفاظت فرما، مظلوموں کی نصرت فرما۔ پروردگار اس وقت فلسطین کے اندر جو ظلم کی آندھیاں چل رہی ہیں وہ صرف تو روک سکتا ہے، ساری دنیا تو ایک طرف ہو گئی ہے۔ پروردگار تجھے واسطہ تیری اپنی قدرت کا مظلوموں کی نصرت فرما، مظلوموں کی مدد فرما، اور اس دنیا میں عدل کے نظام کو قائم کرنے کے لیے سلطان عادل کا जल्द से जल्द ज़ुहूर फरमा बिरहमतिक या अरहमर राहिमीन। ज़ियारत वारिस।
متوجه زيارت. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليك يا وارث آدم صفوة الله. السلام عليك يا وارث نوح النبي الله. السلام عليك يا وارث إبراهيم خليل الله. السلام عليك يا وارث موسى كليم الله. السلام عليك يا وارث عيسى روح الله. السلام عليك يا وارث محمد حبيب الله. السلام عليك يا وارث أمير المؤمنين علي ولي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن محمد المصطفى. السلام عليك يا ابن علي المرتضى. السلام عليك يا ابن فاطمة الزهراء. السلام عليك يا ابن خديجة الكبرى. السلام عليك يا ثار الله وابن ثاره والوتر الموتور. أشهد أنك قد أقمت الصلاة وآتيت الزكاة وأمرت بالمعروف ونهيت عن المنكر وأطعت الله ورسوله حتى أتاك اليقين. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سميت بذلك فرضيت به. يا مولاي يا أبا عبد الله، أشهد أنك كنت نورا في الأصلاب الشامخة والأرحام المطهرة، لم تنجسك الجاهلية بأنجاسها ولم تلبسك من مدلهمات ثيابها. وأشهد أنك من دعائم الدين وأركان المؤمنين. وأشهد أنك الإمام البر التقي الرزي الزكي الهادي المهدي. وأشهد أن الأئمة من ملدك كلمة التقوى وعلام الهدى والعروة الوثقى والحجة على أهل الدنيا. وأشهد الله وملائكته وأنبياؤه ورسله أني بكم مؤمن وبيا بكم موقن بشرائع ديني وخواتيم عملي وقلبي لقلبكم سلم وأمري لأمركم متبع. صلوات الله عليكم وعلى أرواحكم وعلى أجسادكم وعلى أجسامكم وعلى شاهدكم وعلى غائبكم وعلى ظاهركم وعلى باطنكم. زيارة علي أكبر عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا ابن رسول الله. السلام عليك يا ابن نبي الله. السلام عليك يا ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن حسين الشهيد. السلام عليك أيها الشهيد. السلام عليك أيها المظلوم وابن المظلوم. لعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة سميت بذلك فرضيت به. زيارة شهداء كربلاء. السلام عليكم يا أولياء الله وحباء. السلام عليكم يا أسفياء الله ووداء. السلام عليكم يا أنصار دين الله. السلام عليكم يا أنصار رسول الله. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليكم يا أنصار فاطمة سيدة النساء العالمين. السلام عليكم يا أنصار أبي محمد الحسن ابن علي ولي الناس. السلام عليكم يا أنصار بأبي عبد الله بأبي أنتم وأمي. طبتم وطابت الأرض التي فيها دفنتم وفزتم فوزا عظيما. فيا ليتني كنت معكم فأفوز معكم. زيارة حضرة عباس عليه السلام. السلام عليك يا أبو الفضل العباس ابن أمير المؤمنين. السلام عليك يا ابن سيد الوسيين. السلام عليك يا ابن أول القوم الإسلاما وأقدمهم إيمانا وأقومهم بدين الله وأحوتهم على الإسلام. أشهد لقد نصحت لله ولرسوله ولأخيك فنعم الأخ المواسي. فلعن الله أمة قتلتك ولعن الله أمة ظلمتك ولعن الله أمة استخلت منك المحارم وانتهكت حرمة الإسلام. فنعم الصابر المجاهد منحام الناصر الأخ الدافع عن أخي مجيب إلى طاعة ربه الراهب فيما زهد فيه غيره من الثواب الجزيل والثناء الجميل. والحقق الله بدرجتك آبائك في جنات النعيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا مولى وابن مولى. السلام عليك يا غريب الغرباء. السلطان أبا الحسن يا علي بن موسى الرضا ورحمة الله وبركاته. السلام عليك يا صاحب الزمان. السلام عليك يا خليفة الرحمن. السلام عليك يا شريك القرآن. عجل الله تعالى فرجك وسهل الله مخرجك وظهورك ورحمة الله وبركاته. اللهم صل على محمد.